Hyello, and here we go again. The hallway makeover and or refresh. Yep, that's a hallway, alright. So first things first, I'm the realist, and that's to gut it, which in this case means taking down any and all wall hangings or ceiling hangings, I suppose, as well as the nails being used to hold them up. Including these weird, very unnecessary anchors. Every makeover I do in this house ends up bringing more and more to light, surprise-wise? That rhymed. And yes, that 100% got in my mouth. That's what she said. And then I got it all out, every single piece. Emphasis on the pieces. With all the holes left from the nails to hang pictures and picking up at the ceiling to get those pieces out, spackle has come to save the day.
Vincent, I'm on the intercom.
And though I was bullied by my family for filming this, I also wanted to include it, just to spite them, you know? And also because you do want to take the lighting plates, is that what they're called? I think that's what they're called, off of the wall, because you want to be able to paint under them. Oh, there's the family I was talking about. You always want to remove any light fixtures that may be in your way so you don't end up painting them by accident.
It's going to be hard to paint around because of those things sticking out.
See what I mean?
And if they're anything like mine, probably give them a decent, if not thorough, washing.
Oh, why am I doing It's a good light, thank you. Thanks for putting that on.
I thought I'd give you an idea.
I just thought of something. I don't know why. It's like the light bulb came on. Oh, the thought's gone though.
Mine's here. Once I've given the spackle ample time to dry, aka overnight, I put on my sanding gear and started at it. It's sanding time! It ain't easy being on the shorter side of life when you have to constantly reach to a ceiling. Okay, now I'm not sanding. I sped this up because y'all have seen me TSP so many times by now, unless you're new here, in which case you should stay a while. I'm pretty much constantly doing some type of makeover or update. It was also like an arm day, as you can probably tell. Washed it a few times to get the TSP off and moving on. When I was sanding, I did find that there were some cracks that were visibly textured ridges, so I sanded those down too. And since sanding them down entered a new color into my workspace, I need to prime only those spots, those 6 spots in particular. I simply use the paint lid as my palette because, of course, like when you mix it back and forth, some of the paint gets onto the paint lid and might as well get a smaller area rather than bringing the entire palette with you because I wasn't needing that much paint anyways. For the actual paint though, we are finally getting there. Over 5 minutes into this for you guys and many days for me. I'm putting down sheets to protect my surfaces of the hardwood. Not a piece of wood to be seen except that one, and now we fix it. For the ceiling, I'm using actual ceiling paint, of course, but also color changing, which is essentially sorcery, in my opinion. This goes on a mauve pink tone, and when it's fully dry, it's white, so you know exactly where you've already done as you're going, which is super helpful when you have 110 other things to worry about, like perhaps not tripping over the paint pot and hearing the squeak from the roller every 10 seconds. You know, those things. First, going in with a brush and cutting in each wall. And around the light fixture as well. Then it's rolling time. The more helpful I found this working is when I lifted it up with my less dominant hand and pushed it onto the ceiling, or the wall of course. Pushed onto the ceiling or the wall with my more dominant hand. This works incredibly well if you're ambidextrous. I am not, as you can probably tell. To add pressure and walked with it, only taking off the ceiling when I was moving to a separate location. First while it was a matter of getting used to, as this was my first time rolling paint. Oh, and when my arms get too tired, which happens often. I did 3 layers on the ceiling, 1 coat of paint to cut in every 2 coats of rolling paint, because cutting layers tend to be a little bit thicker. And just like that, it was wall time, which includes adding paint tape along the trim of each door frame and actually cutting that in with a razor to make it so it's right to the edge. Just to put this out there, I'll say when putting on the tape, doing it one long strip looks better and more satisfying when you take it off, but ripping and or cutting the tape and going in smaller sections is more realistic and actually helpful. The color for the ceiling and the wall was based off the color for the kitchen, so we discussed many options and came to the conclusion of this baby. Enjoy a little talk of how hard it is cutting into a ceiling that is not purposefully rounded, but without any sound, which looks absolutely ridiculous. Then filling it all in, that's what she said. Any areas that a big roller can't fit into, I either brushed it with, of course, a paintbrush or took a small roller to it. Now with rolling walls, I found the best way to do this is to take an extended roller and do the top half, then remove the extension, roll the bottom half, and then do one foul swoop going from top to bottom just to create a uniform look. I did do 2 coats of the gray, and then I took the tape off. Enjoy! You may have noticed that at some point the paints got to underneath the tape, which is not ideal, but it was expected. Plus, there was old paint from the previous owners, which was probably well over 15 years old. To remove the paint from the trim, there's probably some products out there that are entirely too expensive that you can use, or you can definitely just search your cupboards for white vinegar, which also does the trick. I placed a bit in a plastic palette so I could bring it around with me. I took a rag and a lot of elbow grease and went to town. Looking at each area, the change is subtle, but when you do look at the entire area, how it looked before compared to now, it is quite the change, as you can tell by the rag. I even ended up using the back of tweezers beneath the cloth or the rag to add more pressure to each area. Oh boy, it's been places. Now, I wouldn't say that this is brand new condition, but it is like new used condition of sorts. Like on Marketplace, when something has obviously been used, but it's still really new looking, I would say this falls under that category. So y'all ready for a little hallway refresh before and after? Here we go. One thing I would do is put up kind of like a statement mirror in this hallway just to make it so it's not a hallway of doors, basically. I really love how much dimension the gray gave this hallway, especially considering it didn't have visible corners or creases until I actually put them in there. As it was just cream on cream, like just one tone all the way through, so they didn't have the different colors to create, again, more dimension. But that is it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!